Take this sword to the Templars in Paris. I'm going to ask you to do something. You have no idea how important it is.
Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's Kamish, back here with another draft preview. This time it's original owner Robert and Templars, the three-time division champ, back in the old East Division. A guy who, I was surprised at the career record with 3 division titles, under 500 at 32 and 35. A lot of that based due to last year's 4-9 record, which was a disaster for you. The other thing that's telling, 0-3 in the playoffs, so you've been one and done in the playoffs on each of those 3 divisional titles. Best finish 7th place being back in 2016. Looking at your draft, obviously having 4th overall helps. You got 2 round 3s, 2 round 4s, 2 round 5s, 2 round 6. You got 13 picks in the first 10 rounds, 12 picks in the 11 to 20, and only 4 picks in the last 21 to 29. Puts you in an ideal pick situation, there's no doubt about that, and an opportunity for you to hopefully get a game breaker and with 4th overall, because you kind of need it looking at your keepers. You got Derek Carr at quarterback. I'm still not sold on him. We'll see. I've seen Aaron Jones ranked as high as 5 in running back magazines, boards for fantasy, but that was only one book. But I think he's got some upside for sure. Corey Davis, not sold on him. I think he might turn out to be a draft bust. Michael Gallup, still have to wait on him. And then you went unique here, 2 IDPs, so Leighton Vander Esch and J.J. Watt. So as you know, the commish, well, first off, let me just go to your strength of schedule. I think it's winnable. Obviously, 4-9 last year. You have an easier schedule. But going back to your keepers for a minute, I'm going to criticize you. The commish isn't hard or scared to criticize, but I think keeping 2 IDPs doesn't make sense in a league this deep. I know you got J.J. Watt from me in the Odell trade, and that's the other thing I wanted to bring up with you, Robert. I think I had to trade like 2 firsts and a second or something crazy to get Odell off you a few years back, which I think was fair market value. I mean, the commission always tends to overpay for guys he wants, but You know, you made that trade last year, and you arguably traded the best wide receiver in the entire league, DeAndre Hopkins, for a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth, I think it was, to the guy who ultimately was trying to well, I don't want to say he was trying to destroy the league, but the actions were destroying it. Personally, horrible trade. You do not trade a premier receiver ranked number one on most boards and all magazines for a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. Those guys are probably going to end up being DJ Shark, John Ross, and a couple other bums. So, that's one thing you have to think about, Robert. I was surprised you made the move, considering it took me so much to get Odell from you a few years back. So I'm curious to see what the direction of your team is this year. Personally, I would try to improve on an offensive keeper, but obviously that's up to you. You got the pick collateral to do it, but there's not much out there anymore. That's the issue. But anyways, as always, Robert, it's a pleasure to have you aboard. I will, the committee calls it how he sees it, and I'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy you take this year. Good luck.